chance.
But
though?
I think she definitely has like been looking at me in a way that I feel pretty bad about.
See, now I like it.
Yeah.
We got a new sponsor here at KFC Radio. The folks at Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app, are getting down with your boys, KFC and Feitelberg.
Yeah. If you're wondering why we're wearing white sunglasses, there's only 2 reasons. You're from Florida, I'm not, or you got new money, baby. And I got new money from Jackpocket.
Jackpocket is probably the best invention of all time. I am like the perfect example for Jackpocket. Once every 3 months, we touch a Billy. And I think it is incredible that just the lottery will like shift the list of billionaires in the world. That's insane. Like it used to be like, I want to win the lottery and get rich. And now it's like, I'm going to win the lottery and like buy a sports franchise. It's fucking insane, man. But Jackpocket is the only thing on my phone that I have notifications on.
Really?
I don't have, text obviously.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing else. But I know the buzz. Because it's like, oh, that's a text.
Yeah.
That's a notification. So when it's like a longer buzz, I'm like, Jackpocket. And I open it up and it's like, today's is $581 million. And I'm like, boom, buy tickets. And I buy a lot of them. And I'm one day going to win. One day I will win the Mega Millions of the Powerball because of Jackpocket. And if not, I hope you do. Mega Millions is currently over $500 million. They've paid out over $540 million in lottery prizes that had already been paid out by Jackpocket. Download the Jackpocket app. You can use code KFC and you get your first ticket for free, which is even crazy. Imagine if you like won Powerball on a free ticket, like literally free money. So download Jackpocket today. Use code KFC. It's Jackpocket, America's #1 lottery app and the official partner of Barstool Sports. It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. It's the yin and the yang of KFC Radio. It's KFC and Feitelberg. And at times in life, we've been on opposite ends of the spectrum. And in other areas, we are the overlapping of the Venn diagram. And right now, it's one of those moments. I walked into the office and I saw Feitelberg and he was walking like this. And I said, how we doing? He said, not great. What'd you do?
I do know. I don't.
He's going to say, I don't know, but then he's going to be like, I was lifting my refrigerator up the stairs and my back kind of hurts now.
No, it wasn't my fridge. I was at the gym and I was just doing dips. It wasn't like a heavyweight thing. I guess it was my body. And like yesterday I woke up in the morning. This is you gotta listen to your body, guys. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I feel like shit. I'm not doing anything today. I came to the office. I left the office because I was like, I really don't feel good. I got halfway home. I turned around. I said, I'll come back. I'm feeling a little better. A little fresh air helped.
You do that, yeah.
The fuck?
And then,
did you have something to do?
We were like editing the sketch and stuff like that, but not really. The editing process of the sketch is mostly me sitting there and keeping the guys company.
He's a really good sport about it.
I don't really contribute too much.
I was gonna say, don't the editors edit? But okay. It's great to have you in the room. I guess
he's a great locker room guy.
yeah, great locker room guy.
But then I got home and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym now.
Bro, wait, that's such a Feitelberg thing. Like, imagine if like we just like sat at Jackie's apartment while she edited the podcast. Yeah. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I can understand why, because it like skits are like you're acting, you're more into it, and I'm sure you do have a little more input. Whereas with this, it's like,
yeah,
do your thing, Jackie, whatever, But I know for a fact if Feitelberg just was like did his part and then it's time for you to do your thing, he'd be like, do you think Pavs needs to be in the room? Like, I think I don't care, but I do care. But then I don't want to be the guy who's overstepping my bounds.
That's literally exactly what it is.
Yep. So I'll just sit in the corner the whole time. Okay. I'll be there, but I just won't say a fucking word.
Pavs will have like 2 questions for me.
Right.
15 hours of his editing. But what do you think about this? I like it. And he goes, great. And that's it.
All right. Anyway.
Continue. But then I got home and I got to the gym and I was just doing dips and I don't know. I fucked my back up.
You can't do dips.
I know I'm trying to work on that.
Well, first of all, what do you fucking care about doing dips? I find that funny. Like, if you work out to be in shape and like feel good, cool. I think the people who like, and it all works together, so I get it. But if you like really, as an adult, if you like really care like what your bench or your squat is, or it's like deadlift or whatever, it's like, what do you fucking care about?
It's just like a competition thing. Like for example, I was home at Parts this weekend, and my dad in the gym, he has like a Peloton, and every single time I ride the Peloton, I turn it on. It shows me what the record is for that ride. I go, I give a shit. 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm beating that fucking record.
That doesn't come surprising from you, because I do know how competitive you are. But like, to me, if I could like lift the bar, but that kept me in shape somehow, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, if I looked good and felt good, but everyone was like, you can't, you can only squat 100 pounds. I'd be like, whatever, dude. You have to do like 500 pounds. That sucks for you. But obviously that's why I'm Couch Clancy and you.
But like, ultimately, I agree. Like, ultimately, I if I just looked good, I wouldn't care. But I don't.
Well, here's the problem though. There's different types of like in shape and different bodies.
I'm literally melting into this couch. Like, I can feel my body doing it. And it's actually a welcome change. Like, because I'm so stiff. Like, I'm just like slumping. But I'm sorry.
You need to be. You can't do dips, bro, because your body it's like doing a boulder. Like, your body, you're very strong and in shape, but your body is so brolic that it's not meant to dip. It's meant to lift other weights. It can't lift its own weight. That's insane.
It's
like, you need to be like lean guy where you have muscle, but you don't have a lot of weight to push, Yeah. Like,
it doesn't work.
I was at the amusement park the other day, and they have this fucking scam of all scams, this carnival game. I've never seen this before. Maybe this is common, I don't know. Just hold on to a bar for 2 minutes.
Oh, I've seen that in bars.
Yeah,
in bars it's a minute.
So that's my point. So you hold on to it, and it goes and it lifts you up as high as you need to. So if you're a kid, it goes up a little bit. If you're an adult, it goes way up. And it's 2 minutes. Do you know how long 2 minutes is? It's when you're just sitting there, like, doing almost anything for 2 straight minutes. Even if I was just like, put your arms out for 2 minutes, by the end of it, you're like, so, I mean, I watched, Keegan wanted to do it, and a bunch of kids. Nobody lasted more than 15 seconds. Yeah. First of all, the bar rolls and shit. It's like, such a scam. But 2, it's not even close. It's not even like you're almost at the end and, I'm going to get your money because you're going to try it again and again. It's like, I didn't even come fucking remotely close to it. And the guy said, there's always these meatheads who show up. And they hop on and they're like, I got this. They start banging out pull-ups. Yeah. They do one arm. They're like, I got this. And then like a minute in, they're like, oh shit. Oh, fuck. And he said,
I've been hanging every day. It's impossible. I've been trying to get a minute and I can't.
It's one of the most like pull-ups and that sort of like upper body thing is like the hardest thing, even when you're in shape.
I was at a bar. I've seen it in a couple of bars, not a ton, but a couple, but one in particular on the Upper West Side fairly recently. And I think it was for the NHL playoffs, so whenever that was. And they have that where it's like, hang on this bar and you will
get your bill paid or whatever.
You get like, I think it's like a free beer and a t-shirt or something like that. And we had a weird mix with people with us. It was like Nate, Pat, Joey, all the gay people.
I could see Pat
doing yeah, me, all Nate, the gays. Pat, and Joey.
That's all
the gay guys.
That's the gayest.
What a weird crew. How'd this happen? We all fucked each other after.
If you ever catch that foursome out, that's an orgy waiting to happen.
I think there were some other people there too, but whatever. The point is that thing was there. Yeah. And I think some people were like, you should try it. And I was like, I can never do that.
That's not for you.
And then the bartender was like, you have no fucking chance at this.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
But I bet you Pat could.
Pat couldn't, because I think Pat did try too.
But he's like the right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what the bartender was like. It's rock climbers. He's like, exactly what you're saying. He's like, big guys come in, think they can do it. They can't do it. It's like guys who are like lean, skinny.
So, and this is that Rye Playland where there's fucking 7-year-olds trying. It's like, maybe those are the kids who can do it too. Those little freaks who are like, they weigh like 40 pounds, but they're starting like baby
every crew's got one.
How about this guy being like, I've been hanging?
Yeah.
I told you, I've already said I've been hanging.
Yeah,
recently.
You've been hanging?
Hanging
that's
every
like
day.
The way you're like that's how you're choosing to work out. You just hang.
I finish every workout like trying to get a minute. I've gotten up to 45 seconds before. It's more of like the calluses in my hands start to
there's
hurt.
There's a lot to it that's not even just muscle. It's like, your arms, your bones, your hands, your grip, all that sort of shit.
But
hanging.
The worst part of all of this is that I have to move a plant today. And
what does that mean?
I'll tell you about that.
It was
one.
great.
And Pavs was already going to help me, but now I think I'm going to need at least one or more helper. And they're just
I'm out.
No, I do. You're like there. I
do not ask me. What is this plant?
I was like, I don't even know. There isn't another man here.
It's not. You go look out there. There's a bunch of ladies.
I think it's the dog. I think I gotta get the dog.
The dog's been lifted.
The dog throws weights around. I think it's gotta be the dog. I was like, I literally don't know who else I could ask.
Tommy out.
Like, can you excuse me?
Glenny might be able to.
Do you mind holding about 15 pounds worth of weight for one staircase?
No way. Oh, a staircase? Heavens no. I thought it was at least on flat ground. Wait, what is this plant?
Okay, so this is awesome. So I've mentioned my upstairs neighbor a couple times.
Oh God, you agreed? Okay,
he's moving. He's lived in my building for 40 years.
40?
40, yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah. And he's moving. He's moving back to Brazil. He's an artist. He's actually
what makes you move after. You know what I mean? It's like people get divorced after like 50 years. It's like
he can't keep up with the city anymore.
What, but he could the last 20.
Yeah,
like
he's a very out there guy. But by keep up with the city, and I'm quoting him. He's like it's
the immigrants.
He can't do what he wants anymore. Like he can't go to dinners and shows, and he can't move around as well as he used to be.
Okay, got it.
And but anyway, he had a party on Saturday night, going away party that. I was like, I was back home in Massachusetts, and I was like, I'm not gonna go back for that. And then he said,
the fact that maybe was even a thought in your mind is so insane.
I did it.
Crazy.
That's the craziest thing you've ever done. I mean that so sincerely that you went to your 40. So he's got to be like 60.
Oh, he's like 70.
70-something-year-old Brazilian apartment neighbor is so insane.
He's the man, dude. He's the man.
How often do you see him, talk to him, hang out with him?
Hang out, never. But like we see each other.
So the first time you ever hung out was this going away party?
Yeah.
That you changed your plans and came home from a different state for.
It came home from a different state.
You are unreal. I envy. I was gonna say I wish I had like 1% of like the commitment you had to things when it, like social things, but I don't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. That's so fucking insane.
He's just like he's a really cool guy.
I don't doubt that.
And
he does not need you at his party.
I did like I'm gonna. Show
he probably was like, this fucking guy showed up. Are you kidding me?
He sent me. I was already home Friday, and he mentioned the party to me before, and I was like, I'm gonna be out of state. I can't make it. Thank you so much though. And then he's like, I want you to have the flyer anyway. And he sent me the flyer.
Oh wow! Wow!
Yeah, and I was like, I gotta be there, man.
That it kind of this does change things a little bit.
Yeah,
because you look at this and you go like, this is gonna be a night.
Yeah, he's a famous artist.
Okay, I was gonna say this dude is
like he's got a Wikipedia. I don't.
Okay, he's a different type of cat with this picture.
Yeah, and I knew it was gonna be like all cool art
from
people.
1984. Like, yeah. No, he was like that. That makes a lot more sense when what I was saying before. Like he used to run in the 80s.
Yeah.
And now he's like, you know, the type of guy I can't leave the city, but now it's time.
He's been building for 18 years his home in Brazil where he's going to store all his art, and it's got like museum quality rooms in the sense that like if it catches fire, all the art's protected.
No way.
All that kind of shit. And at the party, he basically moved out already. Like it was
just like an empty party.
Yeah.
I've done that before. That's a lot of fun.
But he has a plant. This plant that he's had for 34 years, and he's like, John, I cannot take her back to Brazil with me, but I would love for you. I would love for you to.
Oh my God.
It's this huge plant, dude. It's the size of this wall.
Oh God.
And I was like, I'd be honored, Valerie. Are you kidding me, dude? And he's like, but I can't at my back and my knee. I cannot move it. Like, would you mind? And I was like, of course. And so he said you'll probably need at least one other person. So I asked
now
Pavs
you are gonna do this.
I think so.
I don't think like the.
I think I can get it done.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying. You're a great dude too. You're a great dude too. I thought it was gonna be like in the office or something to do for out of order. You're just being a good friend.
Yeah, Feits helps me out.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are great guys. I'd be like, figure that fucking plan out yourself, bro.
But yeah,
it's got to be like a big, stone fucking pot thing. Like, I mean, it's got to be.
I'll show you a picture of it.
This is going to be 900 pounds. There is nothing in this world heavier than Earth, like nature and plants and dirt and shit. It is so fucking
it's a
heavy.
picture of us, but you can see the plant on the left.
Oh wow, yeah, that's like a fucking tree. No, that's like from Jumanji. Yeah, that guy's awesome. I can tell that he's the man.
He's the man, dude.
It all kind of comes together a little bit more. That like, you know, I get why you did what you did. I still never would have done it. But was the party like a rager or was it?
No, not a rager, but like it was like cool ass people just kind of hanging out.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool. That's like a place like I'd love to do like a podcast from there. Get those stories, you know,
dude. He's
back
so
when
he's
men
lived in
were
this
men
building.
and New York was New York. Partying was partying. Cocaine was cocaine. You know,
he was saying like. I was telling Paz about it. There's this girl who's gone viral, and we maybe even talked about her a time or two. But she does like those impressions on Instagram of like a girl in a rom-com.
Delaney Rowe, yeah.
Delaney Rowe.
She's unbelievable.
And Valdir kind of talks like about New York like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so fucking cool coming from
authentic.
him because
it's
like,
probably real.
He's been here for 40 years, and he was telling me. So my apartment building is 4 floors. And it's all renovated and new, except he's been there 40 years, and he told him, he's like, fuck off. I don't want my shit touched.
Gangster. My favorite people in the world are the people who, when corporations come in and they want to develop, hold on, and you see they build like a whole thing around their one house, and they're offering them like tens of millions of dollars. Like, go fuck yourself. Those are my favorite people in the world.
I think in 2013 it got bought and renovated, and he was like, don't touch my apartment.
There's an old Jewish guy in A-Rod's building, or A-Rod's old building. It's like 11 Central Park West or something. It's like a famous residential building in New York, and it's like all famous people. And he has like a rent control thing, like from, you know, like they have a rule in New York City, like 20% of your apartments have to be affordable housing. So like he's in it at like a couple $1,000 a month, and he lives like, you know, like a king. And I think they've offered like $1 billion for him to move out, and he just stays there. He's been there for like 80 years, and I think the landlords just can't stand it. I love him.
He also gave me his first portfolio.
Is that what that picture was?
Yeah.
I probably would do the same thing. If some dude who lived underneath me, he probably thinks of you as a kid, you know, you're fucking 40 years younger than him, drives home from out of state to come to my going away party. I probably like, there's a movie. You should be like that should be a movie, almost like that like Bryan Cranston, Kevin Hart movie, you know? Except none of you are crippled, at least for right now. You know, just like a feel good, like, you know, you and this old Brazilian man just having a moment. He gives you his art and all this shit. It's incredible.
Dude, he was I was asking him at the party. I was like, so are these all your friends from the art world? Because I talked to a couple people photographers, a couple people were filmmakers, and I was like, are they all from the art world? And he's like, no, they're my friends I meet from everywhere. And I was like, oh, so like where do you meet most of your friends? Like, it's New York City, John.
I know.
Everywhere. And he goes and he shows me a picture of him. He's like, this is a homeless man I just met today. And I said, can I take a picture of you? And he says, no, you take a picture of us. And he's like, but that's New York, John. And he goes, I was going to invite him to the party tonight, but you know, I don't know how my friends and all that.
I think that would ruin the party. I'll be honest, buddy. I think the homeless guy in the corner would have ruined the party.
I looked homeless at the time. So it was like,
you filled the role. Do you feel like, I mean, there are people, a lot of people who live that way, like live kind of that almost like cliche, corny New York City life where like there is something to be said, like that girl on Instagram who kind of like pokes fun at it. And there are the people who like make fun of like, you know, the big city, New York, where like dreams are made of. And it's like, yeah, there's rats and shit and all this stuff. But like that exists because there are plenty of people who actually live that like romantic life in New York. And it's like, you can make fun of it or not do it or think it doesn't exist, but like it very much does. And I don't know if it's just because like maybe if you come to New York from somewhere else or whatever, but like for me, I just, you know, I don't know. It was the place I like commuted into for work and school, and like it was just this, you know, whatever, you know. Yeah. And I never once, and still to this day, and probably never will, take advantage of New York the way that like it should be, you know.
I am somewhere in between where like, I'll roll my eyes when someone else says it, right? But I'll quietly have said this is fucking awesome in my head.
It also depends on who says it.
Yeah.
You know, when some like, you know, finance dude who's been here for 5 years or some girl who just moved here says it, it's like, shut the fuck up. When the 70-year-old Brazilian man who's an artist who like lived through every era of New York says it, it's probably a little more real, you know?
He was talking about how like in our building, it used to be like, he's like, it was a frat house, John. He's like, everyone had each other's keys. We were all artists. We just kind of went.
Oh, that was a fuck fest. That was a fuck fest.
Dude, his name's Valdir Cruz. And I don't think, again, he's a famous photographer. So I don't think he's been in the MoMA. He's been in Guggenheim. Like, he's fucking the real deal.
This is a movie, man. I'm telling you.
But he was telling me, if you look up some of his photography, he has like a lot of stuff in the rainforest in Brazil. And he said one time he went for 6 months, lived with an indigenous tribe. And then when he got back to New York, he couldn't leave his apartment for a month because he was so like scared and like everything freaked him out so much. He's like, I didn't go outside for a full month.
Because like the city was so different than the
so different than what it was.
Yeah, these are the things where I'm like, I have not lived life like at all. You know? Like when you think about, I mean, I've done a bunch of other shit and gone through a bunch of other shit that like, you know, maybe the average person hasn't. But it's like people like Ari and people who would just like pick up and go live in the fucking Amazon.
Yeah.
And then they do art and they meet people, they meet strangers and hang out with people and they never say no and they're always doing something. And it's like, whew, that sounds exhausting. But when it's all said and done, it's like, that it's not for me.
Yeah.
I know that, but I wish it was. I wish I was that person, you know, because I think you just live so much more of a full life. Just jam that shit in there, you know. That dude has never just been like, I don't know, let's just sit on the couch. You want to just play video games for 9 hours? Like, no, I want to go like paint Central Park. It's like, fine, you know. But those guys, they live, man. They saw some shit,
dude. I'm like, I almost regret going to the party because now I'm like, wish he really like, you know, we were friends, but it wasn't like we didn't hang out.
But you know what?
Now we've hung out.
That's
I'm gonna miss him.
That's the way to do it, though. It's like you went off on a high note.
Yeah.
You got one note, it was a high note, and it's the last note, and that's it. Because if you like, you know, you can't. Those are the things that you tried to make happen, and you just can't, you know what I mean? Like you can't force that. Or it's like if you have a really fun time and then you try to turn it into like let's do it every year, and it's like the next year it's just like, this didn't work.
Right.
Things just have to happen organically, and sometimes it's the one and only time it works. You'll always have your plan.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
I know the pressure I have now.
Maybe you
for
should
keeping it alive.
Yeah.
He said she's tough. She's Brazilian. She
can go through a lot.
He's like, she take 2 pitchers of water a week. She'll be fine. But
she's like you.
Yeah.
She's like you. You could feed this thing garbage and it'll fucking still run.
He said that if anyone's in New York and would like to go see his art, he just sold the Friday before he's leaving. He sold 46 pictures to the New York Public Library for their permanent collection. I was like, that sounds like a big deal.
That sounds like I'm on my way out of New York and I'm going to catch a fat bag before I go. See you later. That's awesome. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, which means if we go anywhere, the U.S. Open has been the big one. I see everybody at the U.S. Open, all of these little social butterflies, all these little socialites at Barstool at the U.S. Open. It's all thanks to Game Time, whether it is tennis, whether it's baseball. The Mets are a hot ticket right now.
I'm going to the Sox on Monday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it's Section 10 night, and I am a former host.
Oh, wow. That's sick.
But I asked, Kravis texted me, he's like, yo, you got to come. We're doing all the old hosts for Section 10 night. And I was like, I'll be there. And then like a week passed, and I texted him. I was like, so what's the deal with this? Do I have to get a ticket? And he goes, oh, no, I'll get you your ticket. I was like, no, I'm not asking you to buy me a ticket. I'm wondering if they were giving us tickets. No. I'll buy my own ticket on Game Time.
Right, I was going to say, I'm not letting him get that satisfaction. Yeah. I'm buying my own on Game Time. So whatever it is, whatever your reason is, you want to go to a concert, you want to go see Blink, you want to go back to see the Sox. The Mets are beating up on the Sox right now as we record this. Whatever ticket it is, Game Time has you covered. Right now, they have the new Game Time Picks feature where they make it even easier to get into a game. So Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff and shows you only the incredible deals on great seats. So it used to be like you opened it up and they're like, here are all the seats available, which is also great, by the way, because you can see, I want to know what the nosebleeds are. I want to know what the front seats are. But also, for the most part, Game Time knows what I'm going to spend, what's a good deal, what's not a good deal, and they just cut right to it with the Game Time picks. So you know right away, all right, I wanted to go see Shane Gillis in Mohegan. I bought the tickets. They knew the exact price and the exact seat that I wanted. Boom, bought it within 2 clicks, and I had those ready to go online on my phone. They also make it easy to transfer the tickets if you need to send it to other people so they can get in. It's just the number one app on the market right now for ticketing. So pull up your chosen event, turn on the GT picks setting at the top of the screen, and that will give you the best Game Time picks on your app homepage. So what are you waiting for? Go get those tickets today on Game Time with the Game Time picks feature. Download the Game Time app today. Use code KFC to easily score tickets and great deals with the new Game Time picks. What time is it? Game time. I've been meaning to bring this up. This happened a couple episodes ago, but we never talked about it. Your boy Pavs dropped 35 the other night.
I know.
In his men's league game. And I am so happy for him because I can't imagine how good that feels.
It was one of the best nights of my life.
Absolutely, right?
Really,
Didn't you score every point in the first half?
I scored every point in the first half. Yeah.
Wait, for real?
It was 20. Yeah.
Were other people even shooting, or it was just like
so? Our like best player was out. Our couple other best players were out. So I was just like, I'm gonna shoot the ball every single time. And it's so funny because like my whole life playing basketball, I'm really just like a 3-point shooter, hard nosed defense, like kind of like 3-and-D guy, not really a takeover guy. I said before the game, I was having a bad day. I'm like, I'm getting 30 tonight.
Let's go. That's even better.
And then I got 35.
That's
crazy.
sick.
Yeah. Last night I played terrible.
I regret so badly the way I played basketball because I was like, took charges and passed the ball and got, hustle stats and played defense and shot free throws, and I should have just chucked. Fuck it, Like who? Like all like. Even if I just had one game on my resume where I was like 10 for 35, but I put up, 28 or some shit, I would still remember that to this day. Yeah. I don't care if it's, real life, if you're a professional. I don't care if you are in like playing like meaningful high school ball or it's like post meaningful sports, like rec league shit. When you're playing in the moment, you're playing, you know what I mean? Like, you're not actively sitting there like every second reminding yourself, this is just a men's league. This is just a men's league. You're playing. You know what I mean? So in that moment, you're feeling like the same amount. And maybe even more so because you're like, I'm sure you realize it's a rarity. You have a good night in high school. It's like, you've been playing all your life. There's going to be another game tomorrow and next week. And, and so you might even like enjoy it even more so. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine that feeling of like, I remember like the last thing I did before I started having all my injuries was I fucking hit a moonshot in like slug pitch softball in Fordham. Parked one into the fucking the bleachers. It felt amazing. Doing a slow trot around the bases, And then nothing ever good happened again. So when you have those moments, you got to cherish those. 35 is no joke.
The whole week.
35 is like you're walking like everyone's walking off the court being like, yo, that dude went off.
I was
yelling.
Who's
that white boy? Who's that kid?
At one point, like they weren't guarding me. Like they were still allowing me to like shoot the ball from 30.
Make them pay.
And I yelled at him. I was like, "Why are you not guarding?" This is getting ridiculous. Why are you not guarding? It was disrespectful. But
I was just gonna ask if you're talking shit.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played basketball I played 2 years of Division III basketball. Barely played. Kind of got away from it once I got here, and having this competitive nature back has like sparked me in such a way. Like I love it so much now. I can't believe I took so much time away.
You're going Larry Bird. Put a black kid on me. Put a black kid on me.
Bro, I would say like do not stop.
I'm not.
Like do not let yourself get out of shape. Do not let yourself be like, I don't want to play this season. Like keep playing. I have a friend who's my age who still plays and he shoots the lights out. I think he played for Loyola and John Carroll. Tall, redheaded, pale Irishman, Larry Bird type who could just shoot the lights out. And I'm so envious that he still has that like this late in life. It's fucking, that's got to be incredible.
I know, watching those guys. I mean, I grew up playing with my dad's friends who played to like 55, 60, which is
very good for you.
It's nuts. But I love it.
It's such a good sport that like there's always leagues to like play for real. It's hard to play hockey. It's hard to, you definitely can't really play football. Like you can play a little bit of soccer. Basketball you can always play. And there's always pickup. There's always, it's a great sport to be good at. And there's something about like, do you follow that guy Anthony Ant 40? The I'm 40 guy.
I know who he is. Yeah,
he's this he's a Spanish dude who's 40 years old, and his whole thing is, I'm 40. I'm 40.
I see him all the time on the streets.
Yeah,
he's a New York guy.
He's like, he's a New York guy, but I think he plays in Florida now. I don't know if he lives there. He plays all over though. And his thing is, he wears a shirt that says, I'm 40. Doesn't look it, doesn't play that way. Got great handles. I'm sure, he's actually does a pretty good job of showing some low lights too, because everybody's a fucking everyone's putting their highlight reel up. There's another guy, his name is Hezi. He's got like a great hesitation, so he's like the Hezi god or something like that. And then I saw someone recorded their game and posted like the real game, and there's like bricks. He's getting swatted. The team lost. Like all this shit. So I'm 40. Anthony does a good job of posting like both of them, and he gives like other people love. Like he'll put up other kids their highlights and shit. But he's 40 and he just goes around like fucking people up, and they're always like, you're not really 40, or like, you're like, you look younger than you are. And I'm like, I cannot even fathom that we are the same age. Like, that is insane to me. So keep that shit up. 35. I wish Jackie was here, because the day that Pavs was talking about him putting up 35, Jackie said that like she won her rec league soccer game or something like that. And those two were going at like who had the better night. And I don't know what happened in the soccer game. Maybe if Jackie, went Pele on him and had like a hat trick or something, maybe she has a leg to stand on. But there's few things better than going off in a basketball game.
I told Steve before I left I was going to score 30, so he can confirm.
That's so
Did you really?
He can confirm that I said it.
When you said that earlier, I thought you were doing LeBron.
No, I texted Steve right after the guy sprinted to my phone. I said had 35, and he just wrote back.
I'm gonna call Steve right now.
He was like, "League the kid." I love Steve.
What did he say?
He said they got to league the kid. That means you got to they got to put him in the NBA.
Let's go.
Oh, league the kid.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, man? We're recording the podcast right now. When the other, like a week ago or whatever, when Pavs was leaving to go to his basketball game, what did he say to you before he left?
And he was going to drop 30?
He did. I didn't doubt him, but I wanted proof that it happened. And then he went off. What's that?
He called a shot.
He called a shot, and then he put up 35. All right, good stuff, man. You eating some desserts or what?
No, I want to get lunch right now. I might get a cookie with
it. We were doing our first episode without you. We already miss you, bro.
I miss you guys too.
Miss you, Steve.
Right, we'll talk to you later, bro.
Thanks, Steve.
That's so cocky. That's cocky to even think it was like a possibility.
Yeah,
I was
having a bad day. I came in angry. I was like, I gotta go for 30 to make something.
And then, have you played since?
Oh, I played last night. I played awful. I had terrible. I missed my first shot by like 6 feet. It was crazy. I'm not shooting for the rest of the
night. Yo, that's so great. Yo, the continued Caitlin Clark drama. Did you follow the Cheryl Swoops shit?
Yes.
Well, Cheryl Swoops is such a hater. I respect it. Yeah. I'm almost on her side at this point. I cannot get enough of like these women hate it so much.
I don't understand
to their
why.
Core, and they just will not give up. Like they just won't be like, we were wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, it is so insane. Because like Caitlin Clark is now playing like on that level. Like if she played the whole year like she was, it would have been like, yeah, we told you there was going to be an adjustment period. Mm-hmm. She's adjusted. Like that month off really like helped her, and she is the dimes she's throwing, and like it seems like everyone on her team learned how to catch a ball because now they're all catching those passes that they were dropping in the beginning. And I mean, it's one thing when you watch women's basketball, like you can admit that like women's basketball is having a moment and becoming a thing, but then sometimes you see some of the play and you're like, yeah, it's still like not really there. Mm-hmm. The way that like they run their offense and some of the shit that Caitlin Clark does, it's like peak basketball. Some of these passes, like full court bounce passes and fucking, motion basketball, that's like, oh, they're really balling. So when you see that, it's like, oh shit, this is, not just like good for girls or whatever, like they can really hoop. And I mean, all the Diana Taurasi's and the Cheryl Swoops and the other one, the famous coach, and what's her name, Dawn Staley. Yeah. All the, like, not one has been like giving her props.
Staley, I think has
she? Because
I think so.
There was also that like she got caught saying like, basically. There was like a hot mic moment where she was like, she doesn't really like, fit in or whatever. Like
she might have gotten hot mic, but she's said into microphones like women's basketball is having a moment because of
good. These are the ones that won't give it up. And like, so Cheryl Swoops is doing it like in the worst way possible. Like she went on her podcast and was like, the Indiana Fever have turned their season around thanks to Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston and the other girl. And like, I mean, you can't leave her name out without it being like you're doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it on purpose, like, fine, but then people are going to call you out and be like, we can't like trust like you're analyzing the basketball properly. Like, if you do what we do, fine. If you do like if you're going to be a broadcaster, you can't do that. But like, how can you like unless you're just like I fucking hate this girl. That is the same thing with that I always said with Angel Reese was like you can hate her, but then don't turn around and be like. Like she just Cheryl Swoops was like, I just talk about who I want on my podcast. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
come on.
I saw that with Stephen A. Like the back and forth.
Yeah,
the way Caitlin Clark's treated, I expect that at like one point there's going to be a hold on her, and her jersey's going to pull down, and she's going to have the Edward Norton tattoo.
Right? They treat her like she is like a abs. I mean, did something happen that we don't know about? Like, is there something behind the scenes where she's like a horrible racist or something? And she. I loved there was a moment last time they played the Sky, and that girl DeShields fouled her 3 times in a row. Like the first one was like fine, second one was chippy, third one was like a blatant flagrant foul, like just threw a hip into her, and Caitlin just like got up, like she got up from the foul and ran away. Being like, I think she was like, I'm going to remove myself from the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, shit's about to happen. And she's on the sideline and she goes, I want to fucking punch her in the fucking face. And her teammate grabs a towel and puts it over her mouth. Like, gives it to her, like, talking to the towel because they're going to see it. It was too late. We already saw what she was mouthing. But, like, knowing, at first I thought she was just a freak who, like, is unaffected by everything. But knowing that she actually feels that way but keeps it in check is incredible.
But I don't mind the on the court stuff. I think on the court, like, yeah, fucking bully the new rookie.
I guess so. I mean,
the off the court stuff, so court stuff is all weird. But like on the court, I don't think there's like target the best player.
Yeah, I feel like that might be more of a hockey thing. Like I feel like in basketball, if you foul someone 3 times in a row, like away from the ball, and you're like hip checking them. It's gonna be a thing,
but
it's a
fair. It is a thing, and it's fair to call it out as a thing. But like, I don't hate that style of play. Like, don't people always like cry about that in basketball? Like,
right,
in the '90s, this is how we used to do it. Fucking hit their best players scared to come to the paint.
I think the problem is if they didn't talk about it off the court. If they were like off the court, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
and then on the court, we fuck you up.
Right.
Like, this is basketball. But it's like we cry about you and we complain about you and we try to diminish you and we are riding this wave, but we won't give you any acknowledgement. And then we foul the shit out of you. It's like something like apparently Caitlin Clark's been like has the most flagrant fouls in the league by like a mile, and 80% of those are from the Chicago Sky.
Really?
So like they're just beating the shit out of her.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
And she's also just like beating them by 20. Yeah. Like I mean, and that's probably why Caitlin Clark like can keep her cool because she's like, I'm just gonna beat you by 20.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put up 30, 10 assists, like have all the highlights, and like I really think the gap. That in the beginning was like Angel Reese is rookie of the year, and I think it's like
yeah.
I think we're gonna end up laughing that we ever thought those two were like comparable. Not that
Stephen Che called it.
Did he?
He had a tweet being like, "We're gonna look back on this era as so dumb."
Yeah,
that we compared like
these
a generational
right.
And I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't watched anything, but I follow Dave's commentary.
I do think you can see. I don't sit down and watch WNBA games either. But you don't watch, like, there's so few people who watch, like, full all-league NBA games, too, and you comment on that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I don't know why the WNBA has this thing of, like, you've never watched us. It's like, I don't watch Warriors games, and I know what Steph Curry can do.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So when you see, like, again, when you watch Angel Reese, when you watch Caitlin Clark, even highlights, like, the way she moves without the ball, the way she dribbles, the way she passes, the way she comes off a pick and shoots, it's like, it's impressive, you know? And then, like, you watch, like, Angel Reese, and it's like, she misses, like, 5 layups under the basket, and, like, she's like a junkyard dog down there, and that's how she gets her way. But it's, like, it's crazy that we were, it's like comparing Steph to, like, a fucking, like, a under the basket bruiser you throw in there. It's like, what were we even thinking? So
she does have like I forget someone was talking about her. It was Pat Bev. That's why I saw it. Pat Bev said like she's so popular because she has a regular woman's frame. And I saw a viral tweet being like quote tweeting it, being like, "Oh yeah, Caitlin Clark has a regular. Regular women are 6 feet tall," and it's like, and everyone was kind of not everyone, but like there was a dunking on Pat Bev, and I was like, well, that's not what he fucking said. He didn't say height. He said frame.
Right.
Like Steph Curry has a regular person's frame. That's probably why I like him. I can relate to him. I see that like he's not a freak. He's 6'2". He's taller than the average person.
Right, but he doesn't look like LeBron James. But, he doesn't look like a fucking freight train.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and like
huge
Caitlin Clark is the same. She's
also
about 5 inches taller than the average woman and looks like them frame-wise.
But also when you're on the court, too, around other basketball players, like she doesn't look like some of these, the bigger, more athletic players.
Yeah.
So it's all relative to where you see the person. And also she's white. I mean, she's a white girl. Right. Come on. Like, it's crazy when we ignore the racial part of it. But, Nancy Lieberman was on with Stephen A. Smith. Nancy Lieberman is like a legendary women's basketball. Like she's like the pioneer. She was playing in like the 70s. Like women were like not allowed to have like bank accounts. She was playing basketball somehow. I don't even know what league she was in. And she was like, I coached Cheryl Swoops. I helped her get her Nike deal. I helped her get her sneaker. I played with her. I helped her get in the Hall of Fame. Everything. And she was like, our relationship's over.
Why?
She called her when the Cheryl Swoops thing started when Caitlin Clark broke the record, the Pete Maravich like all-time scoring record.
Yeah. Just
college scoring record. Cheryl Swoops came out and said, well, she's a 5th-year senior and she takes 40 shots a game. So of course she did. And she's just not a 5th-year senior. And then they were like, she's a 4-year senior and she takes like 20 shots a game. So like, what the fuck, And she texted Caitlin Clark being like, oh, COVID had me fucked. Like COVID messed me up. I thought you were a 5th-year senior. Like you're doing great. And of course, Caitlin Clark wrote back. She only Cheryl Swoops released these texts like yesterday, even though they're like 6 months ago because she's feeling the heat now because of everything. So she was like, look, we had like a great exchange. And it was, I'm sure Caitlin Clark wanted to write back like, suck my dick.
Yeah, those are the worst.
But she wrote back like, thank you so much for everything you've done for Cheryl Swoops was like that bitch. She has 4 titles, 4 MVPs, Olympic gold medals. She had the Nike sneakers. She was like the Jordan of women. So like, she is that bitch. But all the more reason to be like, you're tarnishing all that by acting like such a fucking hater. And Caitlin Clark knew exactly what to write back when, of course she wanted to be like, get out of here, you dusty old bitch. So Nancy Lieberman said, I called her and I said, you can say whatever you want about this chick, but you got to get your facts right. Like, which is so funny to me because in a vacuum, like that is very true. Like in that you tell someone like, you can say what you want, but if you're getting the stats wrong, if you're getting the facts wrong, like you're tearing this person down and you're wrong about it, like you can't do that. But if I was ever like on a podcast and saying some shit, and then John called me out of nowhere. I was like, hey, by the way, you were like fucking wrong on that. You gotta like put a statement out and have a mea culpa. I'd be like, fuck you,
well,
dude.
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I was like, why did that ruin your personal relationship? Like, well, yeah. Imagine if Stephen A and Skip, like the actual cause for the First Take breakup was like Skip didn't like Tom Brady or whatever, or like whatever. Like this is fucking insane, right?
Yeah, I mean, to call anybody and get in their business about like some of the silly shit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, John sounds like a fucking idiot. And if we were like on the podcast or something, I'd argue with you, but I would never call you up and be like, you're wrong and you need to like make amends for that.
Just, Caitlin Clark is actually the Messiah and you should recognize her as such.
I don't know. I say that, but like if I was Nancy Lieberman and women's basketball meant as much as it did to me, and like now we do have the Messiah and you're trying to fuck with it, I might feel a way about it. It's similar to like when I was trying to stand up for the Mean Girls, where I was like, I think that like content and the company should run in a certain way, and you guys are fucking with these people, and I'm going to stand up for them.
Yeah, but
I would never have called Kelly on the side. I did it like here. Right, I never would have been like, hey Kelly, you're fucking.
But like shit, like Caitlin Clark is objectively great, so like she's not in danger of
losing her job or whatever. Yeah,
Cheryl Swoops doesn't like her.
Right. But I could maybe see a scenario where you're like, this is good for the league and you sound like an asshole. But again, I would do that like in content. I would never. It's like I would probably not have a relationship with you anymore either. You know, if you were just calling me up to like call me out for some of my shit, I'd be like, all right, I thought we were friends. Clearly you feel, you know? Yeah. So at one point I was like, damn, Cheryl Swoops is really like burning it all down over this shit. And then I was like, well, Nancy Lieberman was going to burn it down on that one.
You're acting a little ridiculous, Nancy.
Fuck you. I mean, that would make me dig my heels in. Even if I knew I was wrong and all that shit, I'd be like, fuck you, Nancy. She goes, I got off the treadmill and I called her. Fuck you and get back on your treadmill.
I did ultimately one time end a relationship over Blake Wheeler disagreement. But
what was that about?
Blake Wheeler at the time was on the Bruins, and I was like, this dude's fucking good. And my girlfriend's like, he stinks. And I was like, you're an idiot. She was kind of, I like to think the fight ended in a draw. The relationship ended. But
how did Blake Wheeler play?
Well, Blake Wheeler, he ended up getting traded. He ended up becoming captain of the Winnipeg Jets, though. So, like, I'm kind of right.
Right.
Like, he's a good player. The Bruins didn't use him right. But, like, he's a captain of the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah,
he's a great
that's
I think
great.
I think Blake Wheeler is probably the greatest Winnipeg Jet
captain ever
in I don't know about history, but at least since they moved back to Winnipeg.
Winnipeg's got to be the most irrelevant franchise in the world. The Winnipeg Jets. Sometimes I'll like search the Jets score and it'll give me the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm like, in what world, internet? In what world, internet, do you think I want the Winnipeg Jets score? Fucking insane, dude.
Have we waited this long to talk about John Rich for any particular reason?
Oh,
I was thinking literally all day. I partly because we were kind of messing around with the idea of a sketch on it, but like also just because it was funny. Like I talked a lot about Knowles 3-2-1 Knowles
3-2-1 Knowles, yeah,
3-2-1 Knowles eating shit. I was like, that guy's got to eat poop.
Yeah,
like,
you got to do it.
And all day I'm like, this guy's got to eat shit. This guy's got to eat shit. This guy's got to eat shit. And then
you saw someone eat
I
shit.
watched the guy eat shit, and I was like, boy, I wouldn't have done that.
Why did he do it?
Because he had made a bet. I forget what it was. It might have been on the national championship game. I forget, but it was he'd cut his head off. If X team won,
and he was like, I can't do it.
And that team won.
Yeah,
and it's pretty hard to make good on that bet that you will cut your head off. And so I guess on the rundown, Tate, Smokes, and I think it was Nick Tarani said, if John Rich can take this guy's bet and he'll be absolved of the beheading. Bet.
Yeah,
and
he did it.
And he did it.
I mean, he's a man of honor. And in the world of sports fandom and internet content and shit, fuck yeah, man. But in the real world, the real world of like adult humans, that was fucking insane.
It was
like, I will never look at that guy the same. I'll still be friends with him. He's a good guy. He works hard, all of that. But like when push comes to shove, if I ever need to like vouch for him or like predict what he's gonna do or something like that, I can't. I mean, that man ain't shit on purpose, willingly, with nobody really pushing him.
No, like
somebody, like he was just itching for someone to tell him to eat shit.
I've been kind of debating with that, where I think John Rich has wanted to eat shit for quite some time. Is he here?
I go check. I'm sure.
Yeah,
he's for sure here.
Let's get John Rich in here because he did it. Like, there was not even enough time for there to be a groundswell of action for him.
Right.
Like if that happened on the rundown and the internet, like Twitter shifted and was like, yeah. Now John Rich has to eat shit. And he was like, all right.
Yeah, he quote tweeted that video from the rundown. Because I think he realized that not enough people are even calling for this, so they're gonna wonder why I'm eating.
Why I'm eating shit? Yeah, so I need to start the fucking
So he quote tweeted that video with the video of him already eating shit, not him being like, maybe I'll do it. It was that video, and then like an hour later, it was just him eating. And I was like, dude, I didn't even know anyone asked you to do this.
There's not enough time for someone to even ask you. 60 minutes between like, hang on, guys, I don't know if I'm going to eat shit and him eating shit.
Yeah.
That it's a record time. That was so disgusting.
It would have been less gross if he ate like a candy bar, I think. Like if he just
why did he like mix it? How long is that going to be?
I think it usually starts at noon, so it'll probably go to 12:40.
All right, I'll text him saying. Was there some talk from 321 Knowles about mixing it with a drink? Why did he do that?
Wait, he mixed it with a drink?
Yeah, he mixed High Noon. Yeah. He I missed that. He poured
I was skipping around.
He poured a little High Noon into the cup and kind of like swirled it up, which, if anything, would make it like would activate it and make it like wet poop.
Yeah,
because like I listen,
Jiminy,
we've all been around. I mean, I've watched people eat poop before. Have you?
I don't think
I watched a guy eat geese shit before, like as a bet. And you know,
like you've seen a video of it, like with
no, I was there.
Now that you're saying, maybe like when you were kids, there was a lot of geese shit.
I watched a guy eat geese shit, and I watched a younger brother get bullied into eating dog poop in the winter that had been like white. You know, when it turns white. But in both of those cases, those are like it's like a fossil. It's like calcified.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. And I don't know what's worse. Maybe that's gross too. You got to like crunch it, but I definitively know I would not be pouring a carbonated drink into the poop. That's like effervescence. That like brings the poop out.
Oh,
and then was all alone. Like usually these things have like a live stream and there's like, oh my God, there's like 10,000 people waiting for this to start. Or like it's going to be a moment and yes, it's disgusting, but you're going to be like the hero for the internet for a day. The only thing worse than that is doing it to like relatively no fanfare.
Yeah, I guess I respect that. I do.
Well, that's what I
mean.
I
too often, sometimes we try and make things, and it's just like, just do it. And if it's a thing, it'll become a thing.
But unfortunately, like, it wasn't this is kind of a paradox. It's like, do you want the whole world to know that you ate shit or nobody?
Yeah.
Because then if it's nobody, you ate shit for nothing. But do you want to be known as the shit eater? The worst thing in the world is to be known by all your peers as the shit eater without at least getting the like, I'm the party animal on the internet. He doesn't get that. He just got like, this is why I don't do this is very similar to like why I don't do karaoke and shit like that. When you do these things for attention and then everyone goes, oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing that can happen. And that's what he did.
Yeah.
He made this video and we were like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Oh my God, he's going to do it. Oh, he did it. He did it.
He did, like, again, I couldn't fully like watch. I was just just like skipping around.
Well, that was disturbing.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch, like a snuff film or like Faces of Death or something and you're like, oh, that was worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, that beheading really was like, oh.
It's like a borderline porn. You're like, let me see if I'm into this.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
I'm not. I'm not into this. Confirmed, not into watching people eat shit. And I'm happy about it. Worst thing in the world would have been if I was like, I need to see more of this. John Rich, where can I get more content like this? But that was just
another eating show at Barstool.
You should have given it a rating. Yeah. You should have given it a rating.
3.6 ball.
Now, I mean, 321 Knowles has got to be like did 321 Knowles pay John Rich?
No, I as far as I know.
Because I mean, at the very least, I think it got Jack Mack off the case. I almost had to pull Jack aside and be like, I think what you're doing might be bordering on illegal at some point. Like you are like tracking down and harassing this man.
Dude.
At some point, like you got his Snapchat and his email and his phone number. Like I think at some point they might have a case against you.
I thought that guy handled it well. In the sense he's like, I'm not doing it. Leave me alone. Like
when
like I'm a regular. I think he's a pipe fitter or something like that.
Yeah, of course he is.
Dude,
he's just a fucking guy who likes the Knowles on yeah. Like, I'm not going to ruin my life as I know it for this.
This app sucks anyway. I'm just gonna delete it and
it's done.
And I'm done with it.
It's like Tyler the Creator's tweet, my favorite tweet about getting cyberbullied, when he's like, just look away from the screen, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how can you get cyberbullied? Just stop looking. That if you can get bullied into that anything really on the internet, that's not within the realm of like fun. You know what I mean? If it's like, hey, we're all having fun with this. If you can get bullied into something that's disgusting like that or detrimental or whatever, I absolutely think less of you as a person. Because you just say no to those people. and then they're gonna like
remember
clamor
the guy
about
who bet he did shit and you didn't. Like,
good.
Okay.
You know what's worse than that? Being known as the guy who bet that he ate shit and did it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the guy who just says, I'm not doing that because it's fucking disgusting. And I was just talking hyperbolic about sports like we all do. End of story. Never wavering from that even 1%. Even 1 iota would I ever consider it and be like, well, all right, maybe I should. I would never do that.
I mean, I think I've done. I don't make outlandish bets, but I think I've done something before,
I said I would come myself and jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
If Pete and we made like a funny little thing about that, where it's like I did it, and I absolutely didn't do it because this is just fucking fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're acting like it's life and death war, and you're the president. And you made like promises to your country that you're like reneging on. It's like, but if
if you're the kind of person who does this for like does make this kind of then you have like PFT's followed through on it before.
Eating shit?
Yeah, PFT ate horse shit. So people do forget.
People do forget. I kind of remember that now. That guy who ate it at the Cleveland that horse shit.
Yeah, he ate it. I think it was a Central Park horse. But
PFT is also like this character.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you're the kind of person who does it, then you have to follow through.
Because then you don't have any. Next time you want to gas this up on PMT, people are gonna be like, "Well, you welch on your bets."
Exactly.
So you need that.
But like John Rich isn't a belt.
Produces the rundown. Yeah. No one has ever been like John Rich is the bets guy. John Rich is the content guy. He's just the guy.
Yeah. He
had no reason, no pressure.
Didn't I do something before? Because I know I chained myself to that statue
but that was because Dave wouldn't do it.
Dave, but I think I feel like I might have done something before.
You did because that was my point was like Feitelberg just did this.
Yeah.
And you were a pussy and couldn't.
But I forget what it was I did. And I forget what the bet was. Again, people forget.
People do forget all these things. It will probably take me a little longer to forget this one. And every time I look at him, I might be like,
what's up, shit breath?
Yeah. Like shit breath will probably be a thing for sure. He said he'll come in a couple minutes. I really want to get inside the mind of a man who does that. But I'll for sure think less of him forever. Yeah. Because I'll just be like,
also
remember
him
that
sitting
time?
Down to do it was made it grosser somehow. Like he was a meal.
He was kind of just like walking the streets, right?
Was it his dog?
That makes a difference too.
That makes a humongous.
Yeah, no, I believe it was right.
Yeah,
because he walked in that part of the video. I skipped around like you guys did.
Yeah, I think he took his dog for a walk, and they shit, and then he scooped it up, put it in a cup, mixed it with high noon,
wetter,
made a little concoction of it, and then ate it. And relatively, like he just went like, okay. I was like that. Went down really easy. He gagged like 2 or 3 and then he was done. And I was like, that needs to be an instant throw up, my man. For me to even consider that you haven't eaten shit before.
John Rich is going to come in here and be like, hey, I bet this is heads, flip it. It's a double-sided tails coin, but I gotta eat shit again.
It's like the guy wants to eat shit. That was, there was two moments recently when the Rizzler came to Barstool and everybody acted like Michael Jordan walked through the doors. When it was an 8-year-old boy, I really had to look in the mirror and be like, I don't know if I ever should value these people's opinions again. Like, I don't know if they ever say something about me or if I ever care about, like, I don't know if I care about these people ever again because they are getting geeked out over a 2nd grade boy, which is not only weird, but borderline like criminal.
Yeah. And
now the poop incident is
I like Barstool getting so jacked up for the 8-year-old and being like, release the Epstein list already.
but this
gotta pick a side, boys. Gotta pick a side.
This was also pretty tough for me to be like, so who exactly am I like surrounding myself with at this point in life? You know what I mean? There will come a day where my kids are old enough to see that and know that these are my coworkers, and I think that'll be weird.
Yeah,
my kids are like, hey, saw that dude at work like eat shit, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, but like that's it, right? That's a future problem that I think you're making a bigger issue.
Yeah,
because like there's so many like we've been through so many things with Barstool where like someone's like that's weird and you're like yeah it's a little weird. I don't know.
Right. It was just a weird time. Like some weird shit happened.
I vividly remember sitting at my grandfather's dinner table, probably 2013 if I had to guess the year, and him being like, so posting that kid's dick, and me being like, yeah, it's a little weird.
That's the world we live in.
Yeah,
it's a world of like you got to break some eggs, to make an omelet, and a lot of times it's other people. Sometimes you make your own bed and you're like, I fucked up, and other times you're like, I don't know. Yeah, that guy posted that dick.
Right. But like, objectively, he's right. Like he didn't say anything wrong. But you're gonna argue the action itself is wrong. I don't know. I'm not gonna step in that one. But like it was a big dick. He did make a point.
but there comes a day when a man's gotta look himself in the mirror and be like, do I want to work at a place where people eat shit? I mean, listen. I've watched guys pee their pants.
What's up?
I've watched, like, let's not act like, every day here isn't a goddamn circus.
Right.
It's like just watching Frank on an everyday basis is fucking ridiculous, And, I've watched Dan and PFT put on diapers and pour chili down their butt. I've watched them piss their pants. I've watched, Titus piss his pants, not 6 months ago. Like this is not like that was the old Barstool thing. Like this shit is still all going on right now.
But I'll tell you what, every time you say it does get a laugh. Like, yeah, it's funny.
but like, well, part of me will always be like, I don't know, man, it worked out pretty well. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, hey, you go to work and people don't eat shit. I wouldn't trade lives with you. But wouldn't it be nice if there was kind of a middle ground?
I don't have an issue with the shit eating, aside from the downright depravity of it.
I want to always be. The question is, do I always want to be around shit eating? Like I don't. We're discussing discussing eating shit, and I said something to the effect of, we're like matching today, Jack. I think we're wearing like the exact same shirt, Jack. I was just about to say that maybe I'll hit a point, and maybe that point's coming soon, where I don't want to work somewhere where people eat shit. But I think I'm never going to do it, but I'd like to be a couple degrees removed from shit eating.
Yeah. I mean, John Rich, that was shocking.
It was insane.
It's a great word for it.
It was jarring. It was like a moment. Like we were saying, nobody was asking for it.
No.
The internet wasn't clamoring for it.
Well, did you see Tate? Tate did kind of ask for it.
Well, that was the point.
Someone asked for it, but like nobody.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the
Like
rundown.
3-2-1 Knowles.
Yeah.
No one was. By the way, I think what you were doing is bordering on like harassment at some point.
You thought so?
I was about to call you and be like, I think you need to stop now because the next step is like going to his house, and I think you eventually.
No, I stopped.
Are like
I knew my last.
You guys' email, Snapchat is fucking. You guys' phone number. You text
my last line was going to be just the simple text. That was.
You did text them.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I think you have to stop there.
But I stopped there.
Okay. Anything beyond that, I think someone could be like, I'm getting a restraining order.
You had a tweet where you were like, I have his girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm siding with you. Where you're like, I have his girlfriend, but I draw a line involving civilians. And I was like, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And
it's a fair line. There is rules of engagement. There are rules to this shit.
I was never going to involve the fiance. The fiance's name was in his Instagram bio. I thought people would get that joke. They didn't. They were like, oh my God, how dare you involve his fiance? Right. Now, I probably shouldn't have said that.
I thought that tweet was fine. I thought
most people did, but there was like because we
live in a world where people will do these things.
Yeah.
Where they eat shit for no reason, or they involve civilians and wives and shit. This is what happens.
There was a point where during the night I was like, oh man, I may have because I was.
No, you didn't. But I was like,
it was close.
You probably need to drop it. Yeah.
No, yeah.
The next step.
If you called me, I would have been like, that's a fine point. I do this. That was it.
You also have to like. It happens a lot where it's like, let us handle the ridiculous carnival on the internet. Because the minute that like other people get like someone who takes up the torch and is like, I'm gonna go to his house, and it's like,
I know.
Like I'm doing this, like, you know what I mean? It's like when they try to fight our fights for us and they're just like, you're a fucking cunt. It's like, like there were actual points to be made, and now you're like giving them ammo. But
there is an aspect of where it's like, you have to understand the platform that you have.
The power that you wield. Yeah. Especially in the college football world where you're talking about Florida State and weird bets. Like, college football world is it's deep waters, bro.
I was really careful. I went through all the replies to make sure nobody was putting his name or his number in the replies. Yeah. I was very careful about not even coming close to that. But there was an aspect of like, I may have taken it too far at a point.
Did he reply at all?
No.
But I love this guy because he was like,
it's not like he was a school teacher.
Yeah, or whatever.
Oh, he's a school teacher?
No, he's not.
Oh.
Like, there wasn't like this guy. Also, it's like a 25-year. It's not like this was like
we're ruining some family or something. But I love a guy just being like, I'm not doing this, you fucking losers. I'm out of here. Like, go have your poop party. I'm fucking gone. If this was you, what would you have done?
Well, I would have never tweeted that, but let's say I did. I think you would have had to eat the poop.
Yeah.
Really?
I agree with once you have
at Barstool. If I said that at Barstool, it would have been no one would have any respect for me.
I don't know though. I think there's a like, I would bust your balls forever.
Yeah,
but I'm going to make fun of John Rich forever for eating it, and it's like, it's kind of like pick your poison. I get what you're saying, but rational people would be like, oh, I mean, yeah, he didn't eat the shit.
But you can't, like I said, I think if you live in that world where you make those kind of bets, which I don't believe this guy does, which is why I respect him saying.
But he also, throughout the week, he tweeted it early in the week.
He was hyping it up, right?
And he kept hyping it up and doubling down.
Yeah.
This wasn't a...
Also, by the way, it was not like, I mean, they were favored to win, but not like crazy.
No, not crazy, no.
Also, where's this guy
like 14
from?
points or something like that? Yeah, like, that's crazy, dude.
That's
got to be like a 35-point spread for me.
He lives in the 3-2-1.
3-2-1
Knowles, which is a huge, isn't gonna, there's millions of people that live there, but like the 3-2-1, he lives in Florida.
That surprised me because, like, you know, I've only followed FSU football loosely since 2006. We lose these games a lot.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's not Ohio State. It's not, you know, this Florida State is always disappointing, I feel like.
I mean, FSU, because my dad went to BC, so when I was at FSU, like, that was a game we cared about. FSU lost to BC like every goddamn year. We were always lost to FSU. It was crazy.
No, yeah,
this is like, you know, being like making a Mets bet, and you know, it's like they can always let you down.
Florida State until Jameis came around was always like they let you down. Like EJ Manuel let Florida State down. Before
I was there for Manuel
Christian
and Ponder.
Yeah, they let them down.
Every year we'd start ranked.
Georgia Tech would beat them.
It was always Tech and BC. Always fucking beat us.
Yeah. They would just like obviously Florida State's a great college football program, has history. They had great teams, but they would find ways to lose in that 2000s to 2010s before Jameis stretch. It was like, oh, there's Florida. Like, they were like 8-0, but you'd be like, they're gonna find a way to lose.
They would every single time. I think every year I was there, I think they started ranked and ended unranked every single year.
And it'd be like they had this amazing quarterback or team players, and then they would just find a way to lose.
I remember, like, when I was there, and maybe it was right after I was there, when, like, I think Ponder and Emmanuel both went top 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude,
didn't Ponder,
at least top 15.
Ponder went like
football?
7. And I remember
he was bad.
And I remember that was a moment where I was like, sometimes regular fans really are smarter than GM.
Yeah, it was just like
I was like, that is just insane.
I would never claim to be an expert. I would tell anyone taking them top 15, top 20, whatever it was, I was like, that's a bad pick.
Yeah.
Like, I watched them 7 times this year. I can tell you that's
not a top pick.
Hilarious that you were there with him, and then the Ponder, how it played out. I mean, Christian Ponder has a huge part in Barstool history.
Totally. You had Casey. He was dating Casey first. And then,
I didn't even know that, but I did know that, Sam like, Ponder. Obviously, he was like big during that whole Van Talk.
Right.
Yeah.
He was like tweeting out the clips and whatnot. Yeah. He was huge. Like, he went to Florida State. Like, fucking Christian Ponder. Yeah.
So you like obviously are in college football, but I don't think of you as like the wacky bets guy. If you said I'll eat shit and then backed out on it, I would make fun of you because we make fun of everybody for every.
But what about like Ohio State? He's doing this list.
Yeah.
He has to do it if they lose.
Oh well, yeah. So if you make like if you work for it and you make a spectacle of it, and then these are things that are like he would like never have a job. Like nobody would like listen to him ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could just go back to talking about college football and be like, yeah, I never ate the shit. Whatever.
I think Jag Mag would have to eat it.
But if it was just like, if you're just like, oh, that's the guy who didn't eat shit, I'd rather be that than like the guy who ate shit. I don't know.
Now, I will say people
There's also
reached
a
out
whole
to
other
me.
world.
I guess it is dangerous to eat dog shit.
Well, yeah, but
I'm
I think
sure.
but if you have like,
Why do you say that?
it's excrement, Jack.
So-
your
I
thought
body's actively trying to get it out.
Be like, whatever, it's just fucking dog shit anyways. Like it's just
Human
like
centipede, no big deal,
That's
bro.
the most white person thing ever. Like, just so you know, dog shit's actually unhealthy.
But it's
guess
not
I
like
never-
a little, I think if you had like a fucking log of it, I think you can eat a
little
little bit of, you
You'll
can do a
be
little
fine.
shot
I
of
would
bleach,
guess,
you'll be fine.
John Rich should see a doctor.
No
shot.
No way. Bro, you
Oh,
can,
I know shot he's gonna, but I
No,
don't think it would be the worst idea.
bro, you
What
can-
if he's
you
got like
can-
a fucking worm? Like,
yeah, I mean,
That would
can
be one
happen,
hell of
but, like,
a-
that'd be
story.
shitty.
like it's
That'd
not
be,
out of the realm
yeah,
of possibility.
dogs have worms for sure. But I'm also saying like your body can probably just fucking get rid of that. Your body, you could do some crazy things with your stomach.
Dude,
the body's pretty good at just like self-regulate. Like obviously,
just get that shit
Yeah,
out.
just get it out.
I think the bacteria that is found in rectums of anybody.
I mean,
pretty
you think
dang-
about how much you eat ass and nothing happens.
Yeah,
No, I think you can.
You can, but you don't, a lot of people don't.
That is
A
true.
lot of people eat ass and nothing happens.
I like to think that the
People get
women
their
I'm
tongue up
sleeping
in
with
there.
have a little better.
Some people have that like as their like even more than that. I remember the first sexual thing I ever learned was a Cleveland steamer.
Yeah.
See, this is why the world is fucked up.
Yeah.
In fact, the first thing this kid
I was
learned
in
about sex was
fifth grade.
shitting on
I was like
someone's
fourth
chest.
grade or fifth
It's
grade.
like you don't even know where the dick goes yet, and you're just learning about getting shit.
Yes,
on
no,
your
yeah,
chest.
I
It's
didn't
like,
like-
what the fuck, man.
And I learned what a Cleveland, and I just couldn't. I'll always know what a Cleveland steamer is
Yeah,
because
for the rest of your
my
life.
friend's older brother, said something to me. Like, I forget what it was. It was just like, you're a fucking Cleveland steamer or something. I was like, what's that? And then I
that's
figured it out.
And you're ruined.
That was my before I ever watched anything
Yeah.
or saw like
Don't
obviously
even
you
know
saw
about
stuff,
a
but
P in
you
the
were
V
never
and
a
you know
kid.
about shitting
You
on
never
the
a
chest.
kid.
I learned
Right.
what
Yeah.
an Alaskan dildo was before I learned what a dildo
What's that
was.
one?
We shit into a condom.
Freeze it. Yeah.
But to stick with my point real quick, I like to think that the women I sleep with have
little cleaner than a
showered
dog.
at least once a day and not
Okay,
wipe
that's a
their
good
ass
point.
by dragging it across the carpet.
I don't know. I think dogs. I think dogs have weirdly clean assholes.
That's why I said white person stuff.
What?
White person stuff.
No, but don't you?
They got less bacteria in their mouth. Might
No,
as well
no,
have
no,
it less
no.
in their asshole.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying visibly. Don't you think that dogs' asses would just be like a shit show, literally?
Yeah, you're right because they have less of a. I don't know why we
look at a
evolved.
dog's ass. It's just.
You're right. It's not like we have like an ass that like there's like cheeks and then you get in between.
It's just shoom. It just goes
But it
out.
goes
and cuts
out.
it off. It just cuts it off.
There's no like little particles.
Yeah,
like,
you would think that dogs would just have like shit hanging out of their ass all day. I don't know.
They
have
do
a pretty good
sometimes.
system. Come on in. Come on down.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna pass it off to the dog shit eater.
Okay. John Rich has joined us. He just did the rundown. I'm sure you're kind of doing the rounds. I'm sure it's a big media day for you. You don't need the headphones. What were you thinking? Like there was not really a clamoring for this.
No, not a clamoring.
Not even a whisper, really.
There was a whisper.
There was not a whisper. I did not even
There
know
was a
about this.
whisper in my very small John Rich section.
Okay,
of the
that's what I mean. Nobody else.
Yes.
Like by the time I learned about it watching it. That's not how these things usually happen. These things
so-
usually boil for 48 hours, and then it's like he's doing it. I was like, oh, just John Ray. Oh, he did it. Okay.
Well, you got to strike while the iron's hot, right? You got to eat shit while shit's in the news.
Why did you pour the high noon in it? You like
Wait, I didn't pour the high noon in it. No,
you had like it was like
that was
little,
a different cup to like wash it down.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
No.
I thought you were kind of.
No, there were two separate clear cups.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I guess
Okay.
that might have looked confusing. on
Okay,
there.
that
We've all said none of us could watch it. So we all skipped around.
Yeah, I don't think many people actually watched. It was very long.
I mean, I watched the finale where you took it down pretty easy. I was like, I feel like this guy's eaten shit before. You
So that's the
gagged
thing.
twice, and then you were like, I'm done. I'm good.
Well, let me back up 1 second because you said how there was like nobody talking about it. You know the reason I did it, right?
The beheading. Yeah, you chop your own head off.
Yeah, so the whole beheading thing, and I thought that was the easiest way to get rid of that.
Yeah, what bet was that?
So last year, I said after Michigan beat Ohio State in the rivalry game, last game of the season, I still thought Michigan sucked. I was annoyed. I lost a bet. I bet a bunch on Ohio State. I said if Michigan wins the national championship, I'll cut off my head. And then, so like, I've basically for the last however long, like periodically
I have said
people.
so many things like that over the times. And
I obviously it's a joke. I'm not going to cut off my fucking head.
yeah. But I'm saying you also just don't even let these things.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, I could have just not done it and just went on with my life.
Like, you actually just used a very important word where you're like, periodically someone will mention it, which I imagine is, if you're using periodically, I'm guessing it's pretty goddamn rare.
And I'm not going to lie, like, it kind of stirred up a little bit recently, but only because like I tweeted about it to like remind people. Like, yeah. By the way, hey guys,
like, cut your head off, reach it.
Hey, you know, just stir up a little, a little Twitter action. Like, hey, remember I got to cut off my head because Ohio State did the thing where he said he had to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like I made a joke about it.
That.
So I did have a few other people being like, oh yeah, cut off your head. They mentioned it on the rundown.
I'm going to assume this debt to wash out my own debt. And
yeah, so they talked about it. It was Nick Trainey, Nicky Smokes, Ohio State on the rundown yesterday. Threw that out there as like a way to bring an end to it.
Right.
And honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh God.
Like in my mind, it wasn't like that hard or that disgusting to me. I don't know what that says about me.
It says so much, dude.
I think it says I'm a very mentally strong, mind over matter type of person.
That's one way to look at it. That's one spin.
Yeah,
zone.
no, that's a pretty good
just because I knew if I just took
like a despicable dumpster of a human. That's another way to look at it.
Oh yeah,
like he eats shit and doesn't even faze him.
Look, I wish I didn't do it. My fiance is not. I'm not sure she's going to be home when I get back. She might be halfway to Ohio.
Yeah,
I was going to ask because you had a tweet being like, I think it was this morning.
Maybe? Like, what are her parents saying right now? What are your parents? What are the family? You know what I mean?
I was talking to my dad about the U.S. Open this morning, and I was thinking he's just intentionally not ready.
Yeah. There's no fucking way I'd be like, so talk to me about your shit eating, son. I'd be like, I have failed as a father. I'm just going to pretend this didn't happen. Like, there's a whole other element of this that we're just like women. Like, we haven't even really addressed what this means with women.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the internet and sports and guys and honor and da-da-da. And then there's just a whole half of the population going, this is fucking disgusting.
Well, that was a funny, I don't know if Jack Mike mentioned this when he was here. In one of his tweets about the guy, he said, imagine having to explain to your fiance that you had to go 0 dark 30 on Twitter. It was like that's worse than explaining to your fiance that you ate shit for Twitter. I was like, trust me, like this is much worse having to explain to your fiance.
What is
that you ate
have you
shit.
kissed her?
No.
Like obviously, you brush your teeth.
I think she would have. Out of respect, I haven't tried.
Right. And when you
I'm not sure if I will for a while.
Like, her friends are definitely in the group chat being like, so, you know?
Yeah. I haven't even responded to my friends' text yet.
You're just so now you're going 0 dark 30.
I'm going 0 dark 30 on my friends, which is
you need to link up with 321 Knowles.
I do. We could start a shit eating podcast.
It is the worst, like when you have to talk about, like I imagine every person doesn't like talking about their job, but I particularly like it less.
Yeah.
Like I don't like I don't like when a friend and it happens extremely rarely, periodically, if you will. Like a friend or my parent will mention something to me. Like my dad did it with me very recently, where he just let it slip. He was holding like 4 beers at a party, and it was right after the baseball sketch. And he's like, this is ridiculous. I'm holding 4 beers. Like, look at that guy in the sketch. And I was like, don't fucking
you
tell
watch
me
this
you watch those, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's such a far cry from
so far
shit.
From like, I look like you fucking putting shit into a cup and spooning it out.
well, where I really went wrong, and like this is just me being
John.
Well, let me like I'm just talking like my mental process behind this. Where I really like went wrong, and like I wish I didn't do it now. Like I'm being honest. Like it's cool in case you're like I wish I didn't eat shit. But I just didn't like. I wasn't that bothered by it. Like I didn't like think it was that big of a deal.
So
Like because I knew if I just took the tiniest like fucking little bit, like half an M&M size, and just ate like a pill.
Yeah.
It would
Well, that's
just
what
be
he was
over.
saying.
And,
He
like,
thinks you should go to a doctor.
It's really not.
I think you can.
That's what I am a little worried.
I
about
don't think.
that.
I think you
just
can eat.
run some blood. Just
I'm about to do audio crack, and I'm pretty sure Billy's going to tell me I'm going to die. I'm going to get
Listen,
like 45 minutes of you're about to die.
Such a chance that your dog has worms and now you have worms. That is obviously very much on the table. I also think you can take a smidge of like anything in the world and take a bite of it. And
That dude ate like a plane one time.
A what?
Remember that dude who like ate a plane?
Yeah, but that stuff, I don't.
Like yeah, people eat shit.
People eat
eat
glass and couches and stuff, but like this is like
Swallow
biological
swords.
bacteria. Yeah, there's a difference, you know.
True, but also I've seen my dog eat shit a lot too. Before.
Dogs
I try
eat
to
shit
stop
pretty
them.
regularly.
Yeah, dogs do it all the time.
Yeah.
People eat ass.
That's what I said.
All the
You're just
time.
taking a pretty big step, but a step further.
I
one
don't
giant
think the tiniest bit is that far
Like, I
away
think
from
you
like
could- I
sucking
think-
an
I think you
ass
could take
for
a
like
little
30
drop of
minutes.
Fucking an ass.
You could probably take a little drop of bleach, put it in your mouth. You'll be all right. You know,
That's what I'm
like all these
thinking.
things that like will kill you if you did enough of it. But if you do a little bit of it, you're probably okay. Is it still absolutely disgusting? Sure. Do you need to like run to the doctor? Probably not. Maybe though. We'll see. Time will tell.
I feel pretty good.
I also think that
not more
sometimes-
mentally. I don't feel great.
Mentally, I would hope.
Physically,
yeah. I would
feeling
be
all right.
almost. I would be. It would be bad if you were like mentally like totally fine.
no, yeah, no. Look. I wish. I
But-
wish.
but
I
You
did.
see no more shit eating in your future.
You physically
No.
can do it, but you mentally.
But I
cannot.
did kind of have the thought, like, because it was so easy that, like,
It should be your thing.
All right, how much?
like for a certain amount of money,
I was
if
gonna say,
I just
now-
had if I
so
just
now-
had to eat that much shit a day, and that could be my career. I was so easy. It took me 15 minutes, Kevin. It took me 15 minutes.
It took you
I
15
walked
seconds when you actually did like the like
yeah.
the whole thing was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But the
The
actual
only reason it
act-
took me longer is because I was trying to find a red Solo cup to match the guy's
Yeah,
tweets,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I couldn't find one. But
I mean, I don't think there's too much of a market for
No.
shit eating.
I don't think
But if
is
there
at all.
was, would you make this your career? If Dave was like, "I'll give you a raise,"
If I go home today and my fiance's gone and I got to start over and I'm completely single, maybe. Maybe. With her, I love her, so I'm
Now,
not
are
going to
we-
do
are
that
we
to her.
joking
But
about
but
that,
if
or
she's
is there like
no,
a-
I'm
is there like a
I think-
10% chance?
But
though?
I think she
She's
definitely
definitely
has
not
like been
happy.
looking at me in a way that I
Yeah.
feel pretty bad about.
See, now I like it. Because now I'm
Now
like,
I feel kind
you
of
know
rough.
what? Fuck that. John Rich is a good dude who just did some shit for the boys, and now you're gonna hold it against him. Fuck that.
And also, you know what gave me like PFT did it too.
We just talked
so
about
that
this,
kind of gave me like
Yep.
the that's what
now
because he
people
even
forget, but
tweeted out.
PFT.
He kind of spit it out. Didn't he?
No, but
Or-
I don't know about all that because he still put his mouth on shit, so it definitely counts.
Horseshit's worse.
PFT. Yeah, I would say the horseshit's worse. Than
I don't know. My only thing with
Oh.
horseshit is like from what I've seen, there's a lot of grass in it.
It almost seems like it's
That
like
is true.
mud.
Yeah.
It seems like a mud patty.
Because you can step in horse shit and like not notice it. Like if
I
it's
don't
been
know about
like
that either.
no, you can't.
I would say
it's
though-
an
Get on
Amish
your
country.
shin.
You can.
PFT also has just when you think of PFT, you're like you might think of him as the pop punk guitar
That's a
frontman.
good
You
point.
think of him as the #1 podcaster in the world, the sunglasses guy, the this, the that. He kicks the field goal. He does a lot of stuff.
Well,
you know?
people also
you don't
think
quite
of
have
me,
that resume.
People
John.
also think of me as that picture where I looked like I was dead. So that's cool.
So you are like the almost dead meth head poop eater.
You're pretty bacteria focused.
Yeah, that's your genre, if you will. They do tell everyone to specialize here. If you can really hone in on something, if you had a podcast solely about that, maybe you would hit. Damn. Maybe this is just you just open yourself up to like the dark web now. There are people out there who are like turned on by this.
Maybe.
Such a true
I don't know.
man.
I don't know. No, again, I wish I didn't do it, but at the same time, like
No regrets.
it is nice to have the beheading thing. Well, I definitely made that more of a thing in my
In
own
your own
head
head,
than
yeah.
anybody actually gave a shit about it.
You clearly wanted to get that off your books, like
I did a bit.
yeah.
And also, you're fucking Barstool, and you're like, oh, it'll be good content to each.
Has Dave said anything?
No.
Dave usually hates this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I've lower in the bar type stuff. He always is like fucking
yeah.
hates it. So
I was not expecting like Dave or
pat on the back
any
or
of them to
anything.
be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Like,
but because it's like college football oriented, like it'll come up on their show, and he'll probably be like, I
don't know.
fucking hate this.
they
This
probably
is disgusting. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey,
shit.
you got that bet off the ledger. So
Thank God.
I guess in the end, it was all a good thing.
Yep. That's what we're going
Keep us
with.
updated on the fiance.
All right, well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
The NFL Week 1 is here, and a new season means new ways to get in on the action at DraftKings. Now, DraftKings has been a part of the Barstool story, since literally their inception and since the very early days of Barstool Sports, and they are still finding new ways for you to enjoy the NFL season and make your bets and make your money. And so the fans have spoken. They want to bet on touchdowns. And so DraftKings is delivering that with the number one place to bet on touchdowns. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Just scoring, TDs.
We have
balls.
the Office Survivor pool.
Yeah.
And if you win, you get a $50,000 bet.
Woo.
And if I win, I'm placing it all on the Boston Bruins win the Stanley Cup.
Wow. I'm not going to do that. I am not making that promise. I am not making any sort of promise. Primarily because my teams are not teams that will win. But man, that would be cool.
It would be awesome. I mean, I don't think I'm going to win the Survivor pool, so it doesn't really matter. But
yeah,
I am really looking forward to placing $50,000.
It does seem like something that you should be able to win, but same thing with like regular Survivor pools. It's like it gets harder.
It sounds I think it's harder than a regular Survivor pool.
I don't know. I guess there's more. To me, it's like when a team is out, that's only one of 32 teams. When you pick a person to score a touchdown, there's hundreds of other people to score a touchdown.
But there's like plenty of games where
people.
I guess there's not plenty of games where Christian McCaffrey doesn't score a touchdown, but there are some games. And
You know what's crazy? Josh Allen has as many rushing touchdowns as Christian McCaffrey.
Really?
That's fucking insane. I hope that's not a fake stat. I saw it on Twitter though.
Dude, stats are so hard. Like I the other day I got worked up about a tweet. I can't believe I still let this affect me, but it does. Like it was like a Mahomes Brady thing.
Yeah.
And like some Chiefs fan being like, Tom Brady's never won a Super Bowl without a top 10 defense. Patrick Mahomes has. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good argument.
It's just not true.
Well, Brady's won it with a 9th. Mahomes won it with 11th.
Yeah. Right. So stupid. So dumb. I hate that shit.
And I saw like quote tweet by a Pats fan being like, actually, here's the fucking real, and it had like the breakdowns. Like, here's their beat them.
God bless the people who take the time to do that.
I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's not a good argument.
You know what I'm seeing a lot in baseball, particularly this year, is like, this is the first player ever with 23 home runs, 17 triples, 21 stolen bases, and a batting average of 289 or higher. I'm like, I mean, I guess that's good, but yeah, no fucking kidding.
And also, by the way, for that stat, the defenses were like exactly the same. It was just
ranked differently that year.
It was like they gave like the exact amount of points per drives, exact amount of points per game.
If anything, it probably proves that like that's what you need. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's one. Anyway, back to the touchdowns. Get ready to do your touchdown dance. All you got to do is pick a person to score a touchdown. If they do, you hit your bet. And right now, new customers, you bet $5 and you get $250 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, you get a free month of NFL Plus Premium, which is the cable package where you can watch the NFL. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KFC. New customers get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, and you get the 1 month of the NFL Plus Premium, all on DraftKings. Offer ends on 9/19, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
The pizza scale paradox is as follows. When Dave Portnoy scores a pizza, it's never going to be a 10.0, right? Because of the room for improvement principle. You can't give a pizza a 10.0 because then if you have a better pizza, you cannot give it a better score. If that logic prevails, you cannot give a pizza a 9.9 because if you have a better pizza, as we previously stated, you cannot give it a 10.0. And if that's true, you can't give a pizza a 9.8 because you can't give a pizza a 9.9 because you can't give a pizza a 10.0. And if that's true, then you can't give a pizza a 9.7, so on and so forth, to the point where really is the number?
It's a great point. I've had this thought before.
Glenn's got one of the better minds in this world.
We need to like access his brain a little more often.
Yeah.
I thought about it with gymnastics. I thought about it with the pizza. or just that notion in general. It's like, I don't know, if it's like the perfect thing,
you gotta say it.
Yeah, you gotta say it. Like Nadia Comaneci got a 10, and what Simone Biles does, like, blows a lot of her shit out of the water. But some of the shit that she did in there is still like perfect, and like Simone Biles doesn't do. So I
think every judgment should be based on what I've seen until right now.
Right.
This is the best I've ever seen. That
right, because it's like this. You are the best to ever play the game of basketball, and then Michael Jordan comes along, and then LeBron James comes along, and then So, and also with pizza, sports like gymnastics does change a lot. Like I said, a 10.0 back then is a fucking 1.0 today.
Right.
Pizza is all within the same realm. It's still going to be bread, cheese, sauce, and like sometimes it's crispier, and sometimes it's cheesier, and sometimes it's sweet, and sometimes it's garlicky, like whatever. But it's all in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So you're never going to be like, oh my God, I've got to knock that 10.0 down to a 4.6 because of this pizza. It's like you knock it down to like a 9.9.
Yeah.
I think if you see a Simone Biles performance, or you eat a slice of pizza that makes you go like, holy shit, this is the best that I have ever had or seen up until this moment, and I cannot think of anything I want differently, it's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a fucking 10. And then if someone comes along and does like a, quadruple flip, you're like, that's a 10.
Yeah.
And you put an asterisk around the one, the previous one, and said, when I first, I had not had a bite of Sally's pie before this point or something, It's all, we people have brains. People understand, when someone's like, Jack Featherbottom back in 1896 hit like 90 home runs. We're like, that doesn't count. We know that's just like fake baseball. We just know. As time goes on, we just know. If the pizza game changes that much, I actually think, if anything, pizza is so consistently good or bad or otherwise that's the one thing where you could proclaim
it's a 10.
A 10.
Yeah.
Like, like the way they you cook steak, and the way that these restaurants come up with meals are like so ever changing that it's like, oh my God, yeah. I'm sure the first time that someone thought to fry chicken instead of like just eat it, roasted, they were like, oh my God, chicken is so much better now. Pizza ain't doing that. Pizza's been the same for a long fucking time.
Dude, I was this is similar to pizza. I actually don't. I assume Dave has judged this pizza place, Santarpio's in Boston. It's like a really great pizza place, and I got a custom soup made for my brother's wedding. So I'm officiating it.
Wow!
And this place is called Drinkwater in Cambridge, and I had to go up there to get my like final fitting. And suit's fucking sick, by the way.
I just have to interrupt you real quick because I quickly corrected myself, but I just got to say this out loud. Because you said a restaurant, I thought you said a custom soup. And I was like, this guy made a soup for his brother's wedding? And then I very quickly realized he said suit. But for a split second, I was about to be like, what flavor is the soup?
The suit is great. Little flare leg, got a wider lapel. Very nice. Very nice. Anyway, because I was up there, I was like, I'm going to get Santarpio's. And I don't know how there aren't more car accidents in the Ted Williams Tunnel after you pick up Santarpio.
Because you're eating in the car?
Dude, I was eating in the car, and it was so hot. And like literally, the roof of my mouth is still burned.
Yeah.
That's why I went home Friday because I had to try that suit on.
Yeah.
Came back Saturday for the party, went back home Sunday, came back here Monday.
Jesus.
I either went to or from New York every day on my vacation.
What is wrong with you, bro?
But so we're driving through the Ted Williams Tunnel, and he's holding the pizza. And I was like, give me a slice. He's like, it's still really hot, look. And I was like, give me a slice. And I'm like, and I'm like, you're trying to, I'm like, I'm driving the car. And I'm like, and I'm just like shoving it down. I'm like, God, that was good. Give me another slice. He was like, dude, no, give me another slice. So I ended up having 3 slices in the tunnel. And I was like, at one point I was holding it in this hand and driving with this arm, but like moving it like this, trying to get some air on it to let it cool down. And he's like, just let me hold it until it cools down. Then you can eat it. Like, it's too good. It's too good. It's a 10. It's a 10.
I think there's a place right around the corner from me, Lombardo's, that Dave went to, and I spoke to the guy, and he had a pizza a pizza place's nightmare. He's like, my guy like gave him like a raw pie that was like undercooked. Like we just fucked up the moment. I wasn't here. Dave came in. We fucked it up. And like it's the best pizza I've ever had. I mean, I haven't had as many places as Dave, but like it's a slice of pizza that as I'm eating it every time, I'm going, oh my God. Every bite I go, oh my God. And I chew it, and then I get to I switch to the crust, and I'm like, oh my God. To myself. I was, oh God. To me, if that happens, that's like the best slice of pizza you've had. And then maybe tomorrow, it's like that blows that out of the water. But for right now, oh my God. Lombardo's is it for me. I feel so bad for them because I also lately like, can you do anything? I'm like, absolutely not. If I tell Dave that, like, he'll probably come in and give it a worse score. You know,
I've done that once.
You try to if you recommend something to Dave, he will like actively be like, I don't think it's that good, just out of spite. Well, so the last thing you want is that, you know.
I think I did Pizza Marvin for him in Providence, which was really good. And then honestly, this I don't even know how to find it because I didn't save this guy's number. But he sent me a text once. Let me see if I can find it because it's like this was like the nicest thing. Where it's like, yeah, dude, that's how it's done. I don't know how I'm gonna find this.
I'm not sure if it is Lombardo's. It might be a different place that I've gone to. There's definitely a place I go to that has a picture of him, and it says, "If this man walks through the door, come get me."
I don't think it's that place, but I see that all the time.
Yeah, okay. A lot of places do that. Yeah, it's like, "Come get me" or Johnny, or whoever, you know, like.
I can't find it, but I got a random text from a number, and it was like, "Yo, dude, I got your number partying in Newport once, like 10 years ago. I've never called you. I've never texted you. I've never done anything.
I'm asking this one favor.
Judging by Dave's Instagram story, he's in I think he's in like Western Mass. I think it was like the Belmont area. He's like, it seems like Dave's around. Can you have him come to this pizza place?" And I was like, I will. I don't know. I said, I will.
I'll try for you. Yeah.
So I just texted Dave. I was like, I hear his pizza. I said exactly what he said. Like, his pizza is the greatest pizza in the world. Do with that information what you will. He didn't reply to that one. But I think he did go to Pizza Marvin. I think he did like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like he will go to them because he needs places to go. But I just feel like in the back of his head, if he's like, those guys like it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to do this to you. You know?
Yeah.
You're better off waiting and maybe getting a real Dave score than me setting this up and getting like a poison pill score, you know? Because he might just be like, fuck you. So, next up.
What's up, KFC? So my buddy just borrowed my old ass truck behind me. And you know that little like pep talk, like briefing session, whatever you give someone before they borrow your vehicle, particularly when it's like old, about all like the weird random shit that they have to look out for or warn them about. For example, I'm like, yeah, the window, if you roll down too far, you got to jimmy it up a little bit, or take a sharp left turn, the radio cuts out for whatever reason, it's fine. I'm getting looked at, put gas in it, it's fine. What if you had to give that pep talk to someone borrowing like your physical body?
Oh, that's a great question.
Like they're taking over your body and borrowing it for
my list would be so long.
For example, I'd be like, yeah, you know, left index finger like twitches uncontrollably every so often, but it's fine. It's an old nerve injury. I'm getting it looked at. We're good. You know, if it gets a little jittery, throw some nicotine in it. You'll be fine. Yeah, and assuming they see you, so you don't have to be like, I'm tall or I'm short or whatever. What are some things you would have to prep somebody if they were taking over your body about?
I mean, the list is endless. Like, your arms are gonna go numb, but if you throw your arm over your head, your arm will be better.
My hip, I'd be like, your right hip will lock up, like just kind of give it a smack.
Give it a little whack.
It'll crack in.
Yeah. My legs, your legs at night you will wake up every morning being like, oh my God, I don't think I can walk anymore. Within the walk to the bathroom, it'll like shake it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, every single morning I wake up and I'm like, oh, what happened to me? And it's just like, all right, I'm good.
Sometimes you'll have sometimes you'll wake up and you'll think it's an earthquake. It's just a panic attack. Like I've done that. It doesn't happen so often anymore, but like I literally thought like it was an earthquake where like it's just my heart beating.
It's like shaking.
And I'm like, and it's just laying in bed.
That sounds terrible.
Like it is like it's not just like I don't feel it. Like it's shaking. Like the bed is
Jesus
shaking.
Christ.
I felt it like on the walls. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, it's
you.
It's me.
That's not only a testament to how crazy your anxiety attacks are. It's just your body is. Yeah. The same reason you can't hang for 2 minutes. It's just too much.
Well, that would honestly be the biggest one, where it would almost be like letting someone drive a Lamborghini.
Right.
Not
like,
that
be
I have
careful.
a Lamborghini.
Be careful of this body.
Like, dude, just so you know, you can consume anything.
I was gonna say the opposite, more like be careful with this thing. Like, you don't know your strength.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like fucking around with someone, like you can seriously injure them. You know,
there would be some of that where it's like, just so you know,
take it slow. you know, don't let the gas out all the way, because
I did that to my sister or something like that this weekend, where like we were like playing pickleball or something like that, and I just kind of like picked her up afterwards because we won. We were playing 2-on-2, and she was like,
"What
dude,
the fuck?
what the hell?"
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're playing with like little children. I mean, I sneeze minimum 9 times now, mostly 10. If you don't know that's coming, and you start sneezing, and you
by 5, you're like, I'm never gonna stop.
Right. Like, you have to.
Now.
There was a period of time where I used to like be afraid of that. Now I know it's usually 10. So I'm like, I count. I'm always like, it's usually it's like a sneeze and then 3 batches of 3. So you're good on that.
I probably tell them you're a lefty.
Just so you know, because it is confusing with you. It's like, do a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Like, just see, like, there will be times where like, am I just really bad at writing? Like, no, you're lefty.
Using the wrong hand? You idiot. I think I'll definitely still have a a just jerk off reminder. Just be like, when you start having thoughts, just empty the tank. You'll feel better. I think that's for mostly all of us, but you'll have some poisonous thoughts. Just get rid of the poison, and you'll have a clear head.
It's all, like, I'm trying to think, like, because it's all such.
Mostly, it's just like you have to ignore. Like, I would love to do this because I would love someone to jump in my body and be like, oh, this is what I feel too, and then like I'll stop thinking about it or worrying about it because everyone deals with it. Or I think someone would jump in and be like, this is what it feels like for you all the time. Like, this is fucking crazy, and then I'd be like, all right. I am justified. Like, this fucking sucks. Like, your back will be in shambles all the fucking time.
You can also just tell them like if someone says numbers, just check out. I started doing that about 3rd grade. It's worked out fine, but like, just don't even.
Yeah, don't even. Like,
that's not our game, brother. That's not our game.
Your memory. Do not rely on your memory. Write everything down you possibly can.
Sometimes you're gonna think a dude's hot. Don't kiss him.
That would be the real one. You're not actually gay. You might think it. I don't know how you feel about dudes. When you get in this body, you might want to fuck them. Don't you do that.
Guy.
Don't you give me my body back after you fuck some guys, because then I really am gay. Don't you give this dick back after fucking dudes. That's hilarious. All right, last one.
That reminds me of the Sam Morril joke. I think it was like 2 specials ago, where he's talking about when murderers get caught and they're talking about, like, I was just listening to the voices in my head.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, we all have voices in our head. You don't listen to them.
Yeah.
He's like, if I listen to the voices in my head, I'd be a sometimes gay street fighter.
Dude, look at this guy. Holy shit. Crocodile Dundee up in this bitch.
KFC Radio team, Mike here. I need some clarification on something. I think you guys can help me out. Jackie, maybe this one's more in your wheelhouse. So I've been dating this girl for 6 months or so, give or take. She's very beautiful, very opinionated, very outspoken, very fucking brash sometimes, I would even describe her as. But is what she is. She's her own person. Fantastic. Anyway, recently she's started to describe herself, and her attitude changed. Everything has changed. She just started to describe herself as demure. What the fuck? Oh. Where did this come from? Is this a new word that we're just bringing up now? Pretty well-read guy. I've never heard the word demure. Looked it up. It means shy and mindful, peaceful. Hey, she tried to kick my windshield out when she was hammered not that long ago. Not demure. So we gotta stop this. Just because you hear something on the internet doesn't mean everybody is demure. And it always seems like the most non-demure women want to say that they're fucking demure. It's like a narcissist. Like you said, KFC, most narcissists call each other narcissists that are narcissists, or whatever the fuck you said. Anyway, we gotta get rid of this demure thing, or just stop making up these words. Because these girls like this one who have no business using this word suddenly think that they need to call themselves demure, and they act like, it's like, what's her name? Fucking Elaine from Seinfeld. You either have grace or you don't. You ain't got grace. So anyway,
true. I think about this a lot. If you did you know about the virality of
I knew of it. I didn't see it all that much, but I knew of it.
So I think about the people who, like, if you're off the internet, sometimes you must just get like blindsided by shit. Where it's just like, what is the money thing? What do you mean? Give me my money.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're demure and mindful? It's like I'm probably now like anywhere between a day and a week late on things. I used to be like up to the minute on everything.
Right.
And now I'll probably find out, from the young kids, they'll tell me something. And then sometimes I catch up on something like, oh, this is like last week. But that's still, in the grand scheme of things, you're like on the cutting edge, because there's so many people in the regular world who don't see that shit for like months probably, or ever. They just don't ever see it.
It is such a weird thing. And I've kind of mentioned this before, but like, I think anything cool can't come from the internet anymore. Its half-life is too short.
Well, where does it?
Like, it almost has to start in regular culture and eventually get to the internet. Because things that start on the internet, they burn too hot. They're like fucking white phosphorus stars or whatever the fuck you call it. I think I think like it gets so hot, so popular that it just becomes.
People want to tear it down quick.
Traditionally, like something that's popular can't be cool because it's that popular already,
right?
And like
by definition,
it happens 2 days later. Everyone's tweeting it. Like I think it's part of just like the life cycle of the internet and stuff like that. But like Saturdays for the Boys couldn't be a thing anymore.
No,
Saturdays
for the Boys was the perfect. Like the internet was there, but not being used to like tear things down yet.
Yeah.
Because what happens now, and I get this too, is like people are like, if they don't like the joke or they're not in on the joke or whatever, they want it to stop almost. So they're like, oh, we're still doing this?
Yeah.
It's been 12 hours.
It's like literally, it
happened yesterday. Yeah, right. So I also think it depends on what the thing is, because like every girl can say I'm demure and mindful. Not every girl can do the TikTok dance.
Right.
So it depends on like what the thing is. Can I just do it myself? Can I jump on this trend or not? Because when everybody can do it, then that's when it becomes like nauseating,
Yeah.
When it's something that like only you have to have a little bit of a talent to do it, or a little bit of, a little je ne sais quoi, where it's not just the average person can jump on this trend.
But the life cycle used to be like, it would take like things were cool for 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Like they were long. Now it gets popular. It'll have 1 million views in an hour. Brands will be tweeting it in 2 hours. It'll be over in 6 hours.
Right.
That's insane.
You know what? I find
like you can't have a culture like that. It just
doesn't work that fast. Way. Yeah. But I guess like the things that really are really popular stick. And that's when you have something that's like a monster.
Like what would be an example?
Like
of that?
Certain memes and certain GIFs that are like always used.
But like what was the last one you would think of? Like I think they're all, and this is obviously comes partly with like being an older person and not really know. Like I still think like the only ones that have lasted are like the Crying Jordan and stuff like that.
That's what I mean though.
But and is that kind of just an older guy saying like, my music was the best?
I genuinely think, I know that every generation says that. I think there's something different when the internet gets involved. I really believe that. I think when you're old and if you live through any sort of like revolution of media, I think it's different. I think if there like generations go by where life doesn't really change, I think there's a natural like my music was better or things aren't better. When like in the last 10 to 20 years, the way you do things, the way you consume things, all that radically changes. I actually do think in some cases things are less quality, not as good, different, worse, whatever.
Sure. I actually read an article the other day that's pretty interesting that like the only thing AI is making severe changes in is our standards. Where like what we consider good writing or what we consider art or like not even art, but like it's that's the only thing that's changing.
Right.
It's like no one's getting tricked. No one's like all that stuff. It's just like people see it and like, whoa, that's That's AI art.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit.
You just, but also even that though, people just go like, that's AI. That's it. That's all that's really happening. You know what I mean? I guess like maybe we don't. Maybe there are some things I've been tricked into thinking that I don't realize are AI. But most of the time, people just go, that's AI.
Yeah,
that's what AI does.
I think everything new is always going to have like a scare.
I do genuinely think music has a much bigger copycat vibe to it because of the internet and the ability to do it yourself and just be like, I'm just going to do what that person does because it works and I want to get famous.
Yeah.
Whereas I think people used to make their own type of music. You know?
I think they still do. There are the people who blow up.
Of course. But I think that there's just more of everything and it's lesser than, and it's, you know, there's less barriers of entry. And so, you know, it's like, and you are doing it kind of for the, I do think people used to like make music that they liked and then people liked it. And now it's like, I'm making music that I want you to like. I think that's a difference.
Yeah, but I think those people always existed.
But they didn't get like you had to get on a label. You had to get, now you can like put it out there, go viral within your little thing, become famous within your little thing, and people give you attention, you get money and all that shit. Where I don't think those people used to make it.
Yeah.
So you had to have like a certain level before you got on.
But like Katy Perry, is like such an example of that.
In what did she do?
Like she didn't want to make pop music. Like she is the example of like someone seeing a hot person and being like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Do my work.
But I also don't. I think Katy Perry. I think of Katy Perry that way. I think of her as that. You know what I mean?
But she got huge.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Before,
so some
that
some
was
people
20
can
years ago.
But I think when you know like Sexy Red will just never like compute to me. I don't get it. You know, and it's like if you're laughing about it and it's a joke, it's one thing. But like if you really like that, I don't get that, and I think that's like not as good music.
But I think those people have always existed too. Like I actually saw the other day that, and I've actually said this before without any factual information to back it up, and now I have it. I was like, there are 6 people, and we've all been invented. And
So like 6.
I was
kinds
close,
of people,
but I was wrong. It's 16. There are 16 psychological types. And like we've all been here forever, and we'll all be here forever.
Yeah, it's just different variations of it.
Yeah.
That I do understand that to an extent too. Yeah, but I think when you have access to like the entire world, I just don't think that we are like there. Like I don't think we have caught up as a people to like what the internet allows you to do.
Yeah,
it's just you used to just live with like 16 people. That was it. You knew like your parents, your friends, your family, your teachers, and like that was it. And now it's like you are just exposed to the whole fucking world at all times. And I don't think that's normal. And I think that leads to a little bit of like quantity over quality at times.
Yeah.
There's certainly things that are always applicable, but I do think that there are certain things where it's like, this is shittier than it was. That's just a fact. Like, come on, you know? But if you're not one of those people on the internet, sometimes you must just be like, what is going on here?
I wonder how that works if you're like an extremely online girlfriend or an extremely online boyfriend dating an extremely offline person. Like, are you annoyed by their constant online, or like do you think like they're like the funniest person ever? Are they just repeating to you like the good stuff?
I would think if you're a guy and a girl is just being, I think a guy would put up with a girl being like an annoying online person more so than the other way around.
I don't know. Like if I
think guys are annoyed by girls anyway. I think guys are annoyed by girls anyway. So it's like, I don't know. You're talking about some fucking mindful demure shit on the internet. Whereas if I think a girl would be like, he gave me the ick.
Yeah.
And I dumped him right away because he like did a TikTok dance.
But I definitely, I dated like, not dated. I think I told this recently where I like went on a date with a girl who had a blog. And I read the blog,
you were out on it pretty
and
quick.
I was like, this is not.
Yeah, I would hate me pretty much.
I can't date me. Yeah. This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, it wasn't even a little bit funny. In her defense,
I'm a better blogger.
She wasn't trying to be, but it was just like, I was like, this thing stinks.
I mean, you were a pretty good blogger, bro. You ever wish you blogged again? If we could make our money blogging versus this, would you do it?
No, because I don't think I want to like write the kind of things like Barstool fans want to read.
Okay, but let's say you could do that.
What do you mean?
Let's say you could make money, right? Like you could write about the things you want to write and people would like it and you would make money and be like as successful, not more or less, but like right here.
And also to be clear, maybe I have a misjudgment, but like just the way I hear people talk about the blog, I'm like, oh, they wouldn't want to read anything I have to say anyway.
You know, you said the other day, I think you said it off mic though. You were talking about like people should go to the movies because you need to support like the movies you like. So people will make it. I think the blog is the poster child for that. It's like diehard old school fans say that, and you weren't reading the blog. Like they stopped reading the blog. You know, like it was, or like you just didn't. Maybe. Sometimes I wish, as a podcaster, early on, I wish I had like groomed the audience to be like, please just use our promo codes when you're going to buy shit throughout your life.
Yeah.
Use shit. Like, please try to use the things that we are sponsored by because it'll help us. You know, do it for, and if it sucks, then you go back to the other thing.
Yeah.
But like, at least give us a shot first and use our promo code, use our link, because if you really like this show, we need this to work. Rather than like just being like, I'm trying to convince you this is a good product and doing it like just be honest about it. You know what I mean? And honest about it every day. Like maybe it's not too late. Maybe we can do that now. Like please just use, if you're gonna get a house, go to Simply Safe because who fucking cares? Just we do. So do it, you know what I mean? So I wish that like and then so I wish there was a level of like, if you liked to read the blog, then like you needed to support it in a way financially. You know what I mean? Like I guess it's different because you can, like podcasting, you can just like go use those things where it used to be like banner ads and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I wish you guys like clicked on those things more or something, you know? Because then if we could make,
but they did also to defend them. They
did.
Merch was
so merch was the thing, right? Yeah. So, but I'm wondering like if there is a way to, if you really want the blog back, you know, can that match with like the finances? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like you just make a certain amount of money per podcast, whereas writing blogs was ultimately free until it became, you bundle it all together and you could, you know what I mean?
Right.
This is just like you make a thing and people sponsor it. But it's like, if I would love to write again, I'm a much better writer than anything else I did, but this is just how you make the money, you know? So it's like, if you would actually pay for it or something, I'll start writing again tomorrow, but I just don't think they would do that. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you really like it? Not that much. You know what I mean? Because if you did, we would, you know, probably, I guess there are probably people who have like Substack and Patreons and shit where it's like, you pay for it. You don't for us, you know? It's like, I think if Barstool ever went paywall, I think people would go crazy, you know? So it's like, did you really like it that much? Because when The Athletic did it and the Times did it, people were mad, but a lot of people just did it too. You know, so I don't know. I think if I could go back to writing,
I get to scratch that itch now, like in writing sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I actually been writing more than I've written in a long time.
I had like a mental
post
breakdown.
It anywhere, but I write a lot more now.
I had like a mental breakdown and wrote like 6,000 words.
6,000?
Yeah. Just wrote it in my email.
You send it to anybody?
Nope. Nope. I had a really weird mental breakdown over the strangest thing. I could give you a billion guesses. I almost want to save this for next episode because we're so deep. I'll do it next episode. Okay. Next episode on KFC Radio. My mental breakdown was sparked by something that I literally mean nobody in the history of the world, if they were given infinite guesses, would ever come up with this. We'll see you next episode. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.